My back is so sore, and yet I still jumped. How are you guys doing? This is Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook, and today we're going to talk about what I want to read for this summer. Summer is interesting because summer I sometimes I like to read lighter things, usually like romance, sometimes mystery, but like a cozy. And so when I was thinking about this list, I was looking at books that I had just acquired because I'm so guilty of having books and not like reading them, you know. And so I wanted to. That was a long pause. We might have to go and edit that. So I'm still under the weather, but I wanted to make sure I got this to you guys because these are things that I'm thinking of reading, and I like to see people's summer TBR. I usually do a monthly, so what I will do is give you these books, and then we'll see which months I do tackle some of them. And I thought it would be fun to see that. But let's first enjoy my t-shirt that my sister-in-law gave me for my birthday, which is like so me because I love my garden and I love my dog. So see, can you read it? Can you see it? Isn't it so cute? I think it's so cute. Wait. I love it. Anyway, okay, so now that we have that out of the way, and I'm super hot again, we are filming when I can't put the air conditioner on. I have a little fan and I'm just hot, and yeah, so there we go. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking because I have a lot of books I wanted to do, and I, of course, left the pile way over here. I have a lot of books I want to go through. I'll go through them really briefly, and if I can, I'll describe what they are. Yes, that would be a good idea because then you might want to read them too. And then we'll see what you think. Tell me if you think this list is like good or, you know, it needs room for improvement. So the first is one that I just discovered one time. I told you when I was in Target, I was just walking in Target and I saw this book and I loved the cover, and then I liked that it was also signed by the author, and it was 20% off, and it's All the Lonely People by Michael Gale. It says he's an international best-selling author, and here's the cover, which is super cute, like little people on it. And this one is in weekly phone calls to his daughter in Australia. Widower Hubert Bird paints a picture of the perfect retirement in London, packed with fun, friendship, and fulfillment. But it's a lie. In reality, Hubert's days are all the same, dragged on without him seeing a single soul, until the daughter says that she's coming for a visit, and it's good news that turns out to be the worst news ever, that will force him out again into the world that had made him suffer from being a black immigrant from Jamaica, the same world he has long since turned his back on. Now Hubert faces a seemingly impossible task, to make his real life resemble his fake life before the truth comes out. Sounds like there should be some fine stuff in it, some things that are touching, but I'll, underlying also talking about, being an immigrant to London from Jamaica. So I can't wait to read this one. I just think it sounds like a good summer one, and it's a good chunky, because the writing is really tiny in it. It's like, let's see, yeah, it's like 371 pages, and I think it will be really enjoyable. So, I think this might be one of those little hidden gems that I just didn't know about. Let me know if you've read this. This is what I'm thinking about. The next one is no surprise. I read Sunny Hostin's debut novel, and that was Summer on the Bluffs when that came out, and I put myself on pre-order for her latest book, which is Summer on Sag Harbor. And this, I said to you, Sunny Hostin, if you don't know who she is, she's a very, she's involved with a lot of things, but she is one of the hosts on The View television show in America. And she researched all these places that Black people were able to buy property, particularly beachfront in some of the towns. And in the case of Summer on the Bluffs, they were, all of these families that had been generations on the vineyard, Martha's Vineyard. And so she wrote a story around that with some characters. I think there's one character from there that will be pulled into this story, and this is going to be in Sag Harbor. And I'm really here for it. I'm thinking it's going to be good. Her books have a little bit of sex in them, a little romance, and all sorts of stuff, and beachy vibes and all that. So I want to see what she does with this one. I really like the other one, so I'm looking forward to this. So this seems like a perfect beach read, beach book, summer read. The next one I showed you guys when I got it, and I was super excited about it on my birthday, and it's called True Biz by Sarah Novick, and it's a story written about a deaf community, and I'm really curious about it. I remember that movie, that I think it was called Coda, that had come out, or maybe it wasn't Coda, but I feel like that was the name of it. And those are children of deaf, it's just children of deaf adults. And this one is kind of a story that follows, I think there's some young children, young, like high school age, if I'm correct. And I'm just really curious. I'm excited about more literature, hoping that movie and other things that are happening will produce more literature that have people that are deaf and with other disabilities, because I think their stories can be just as rich and lovely to read. So I'll let you know how this one goes. But this is definitely one I thought would be in the summer. And I also told you my son and I were planning on, I don't know if it's going to happen now because he's got stacked all these other things, but we were planning on doing some sign language learning together this summer. So we'll see. But I'm excited. No surprise. Want to finish it this summer. Don't want to go another year with everybody going, oh, you didn't read The Yellow Wife? What? But this is by Sadiqa Johnson. I want to get on it fast, quick, fast, in a hurry. I told you how I got this and snagged this from the library hall. And so this is definitely on my list. This was one of the books that I got when I bought, actually the next two I bought from independent bookstores. Like I said, each month I try to buy a book, at least one book from an independent bookstore owned preferably by a person of color, but I don't just shy away from others as well. And this one's called Everything Here is Beautiful by Mira T. Lee. And if I look, is it over there? Where is it? Yeah, I'm going to have, when I do read this, I'm going to do a giveaway for, because this is the one I told you I had, the book. This is the actual, I'm going to take this. So this is the hardcover. And I think I'm going to give away the hardcover and keep the softcover because you know me. So when I read this, stay tuned because I'm going to do a giveaway and give this book away to somebody that would want it because it was never read, as nor is this one. But I just bought this one in and I realized, I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm going to read this, and when I do, look out for it, okay? Because I'm going to keep it. I put a little note here to say giveaway, so I don't need to have duplicates. I don't have space for duplicates, okay? Now, the next one is also from that same haul, and this one is called This Time Tomorrow by Emma Straub. And this is on the eve of her 40th birthday. Alice's life isn't terrible. She likes her job, even if it isn't exactly the one she expected. She's happy with her apartment and her romantic status and her independence, and she adores her lifelong best friend. But her father's ailing, and it feels to her as if something is missing. When she wakes up the next morning and finds herself back in 1996, reliving her 16th birthday. But it isn't just her adolescent body that shocks her or seeing her high school crush. It's her dad, the vital, charming 40-something version of her father with whom she is reunited. Now armed with a new perspective on her own life and his, some past events take on new meaning. Is there anything that she would change if she could? You go through different relationships with your parents. It evolves and changes as you become into adulthood. And so I'm imagining it would be very interesting to be able to explore do-overs in certain things, and other things, maybe they should stay as they were. But I think it should be an interesting discussion type of book, like to talk about afterwards. So I thought so. And it has summery vibe. Look at the colors. Like, makes me think of like popsicles. So there's that. The next one is one that could be for Asian American and Pacific Islander month. This is the one I told you I heard about, and it's all over the place. It's Crying in H Mart, and it's by Michelle Zauner. I got this one in that library hall as well. I still have to take this off. I don't know if I can. Or get their sticker off the front if I can. I would definitely want to get it off. But anyway, so I want to read this one. This one is, following a Asian American woman who, I think she's American or maybe she's Canadian. And her mother passes. And it's her figuring out how to hang on to and how to continue to grow I would assume, her culture without the person that was there that kind of just put the glue to it. You know, her father is a white American male, and so he doesn't have that to give to her. So that is a kind of conundrum that many people at some point may face. And what do you do with that? So I think it's going to be really good. A little sad maybe, but good too. This one, wanted to read it when it came out. Didn't. Again, look at the summer vibes. Like, look at the colors. Look at, right? Summery colors. This one's Little Gods by Meng Jin, rather. It's on the night of June 4th, a woman gives birth in a Beijing hospital alone. Thus begins the unraveling of Su Lan, a brilliant physicist who, until this moment, has successfully erased her past, fighting what she calls the mind's arrow of time. 17 years later, her daughter Leah brings her mother's ashes to China, along with the silence and contradictions of Su Lan's life. In a territory inhabited by the ghosts of the living and the dead, Leah's memories are joined by those of two others: Zhu Wen, the woman who last knew Su Lan before she left China, and Yongzong, the father Leah has never known. And it goes on and on. I think it's going to be really interesting. Kind of an immigrant story, but also just how, again, almost like we were saying in Crying H Mart, like, how do you rectify different things, and how do you, you know, what things travel through time and space, you know, what memories and things can change your trajectory. So this one looks really good. Oh, and they actually have pictures back here. Oh. Oh. Okay. So that one is on the list. This one I got from thrift.com when I did an order, and it's The Three Mothers, How the Mothers of Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and James Baldwin Shaped a Nation by Anna Malaika Tubbs. I am a mother of two Black boys, and I am curious to know these women, how they raised these young men and what they thought of their choices in life. I'm really curious about it. So I think this would be a really great one to read. This one, am I going fast enough? I hope so. This one is by James Baldwin with a foreword by Stacey Abrams called The Evidence of Things Not Seen. Like, look at that. I love it. I love the face. I love the face on this one. I love it. It just it makes me happy when I see it. I love it that it has all of the different, like, nuances of his face. It's got, you know, a little bit of hyperpigmentation, and it's just really great. So this one I want to read. It's over 22 months in 1979 to 1981. Nearly 24 children were unspeakably murdered in Atlanta despite national attention and outcry. They were all Black. James Baldwin investigated these murders, and the Black administration in Atlanta, and Wayne Williams, the Black man, tried for the crimes because they were only evidence to convict Williams for the murder of two men. The children's cases were closed, offering no justice to the families or the country. Never heard of that. I am kind of, after reading that, like, looking and like, wow, this is really short for all of that. But I'm curious what it will lead. Maybe this will lead me to read something else to find out about it. I'm not aware of this, so I'm curious. So there's that. That's a heavy read. Not really a summer read, but it's fast, and it's James Baldwin, and I am trying to continue to read more of his stuff. This one makes you think of summer. This is Isabel Allende, A Long Petal of the Sea. Like I told you about this one, I've read several of her books, and I just really, really love this writer. And so I'm sure this will not disappoint. This one's set in the late 1930s during the Civil War, when it's in Spain. And it's when General Franco and his fascists succeed in overthrowing the government. Hundreds of thousands are forced to flee in a treacherous journey over the mountains to the French border. Among them is Rosa, a pregnant young widow who finds her life intertwined with that of Victor Delmer, I don't know if I said it right, an army doctor and the brother of her deceased love. In order to survive, the two must unite in marriage neither of them desires. So it sounds like it's just going to be heartbreak. Her books, I feel like, really, I would love to see movies of them. And I hope one day she does get a movie. I don't think so. Has she? If she has, and I don't know, please tell me. I don't think any of her books have made it to the big screen, or the small screen for that matter. But I think that her books would be really lovely, actually. And I don't think so. think I'm thinking of another author but I definitely would love to see her books done. So this one looks like the ocean. So this looks like beach. So these are the books I'm thinking. I'm going to put the pile together really quick because I know I took so much time in my last video. I'm like, what? Look how long it is. Nobody wants to hear me talk that long. And then, wait, oh my goodness, 2 more. These are what I'm thinking for the summer months. I can't lift it. Let's not even go there. But these are what I'm thinking about options. And I don't know. I just went through some of the recent hauls that I've had, and I picked stuff, and I said, let's just go for that. I mean, I could be just reading off my cart, which I should be. I'll worry about that in the fall. I could be reading off of the other shelves, which I could be. I'll read that in the fall. But I just felt that these were what I wanted to read now in these more months. So let me know if you've read any of these, if you think I did a pretty good job. I think that there's a lot of upbeat in here, as well as some that might be a little bit. I didn't want them to be all Debbie Downer. We got a little romance down there with Sunny's, so that should be, and I have a feeling that this one's going to have some really funny scenes in it of him trying to like really, you know, make it happen. And I think this one's just going to be, it's just going to grip my heart. I feel it, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But let me know how you guys are doing, and I hope you all are having a great summer and the weather cooperates. We're having strange weather, but what's new? I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.